For a while now, we've talked about the fact that Marvel Studios and Disney have been trying to lock down a Chinese release date for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So far, they have had no success, and they were hoping to lock it in for later this year. Unfortunately, some new comments have been discovered which come from the star of Shang-Chi himself, which pretty much guarantee they're not going there. And as most people are reporting, yeah, this film will be banned from China. So this goes all the way back to comments made years ago, and what we find out is that in 2017, during an interview with Canadian Broadcasting, Simu Liu is asked about Hollywood, the industry, of course releases, of course his own upbringing, China, the parents, and everything like that, since for those of you that didn't know, his parents came to Canada from China. So he talked about how his parents would tell him pretty much horror stories about the Chinese government, the way it treats its people, the conditions of living and all that, and how they present themselves to what they actually are. Now, as these surface and as these interviews continue to make the rounds, it's pretty much guaranteeing now that China will not allow this film unless Marvel Studios literally gets down on their knees and begs for forgiveness. See John Cena with the Suicide Squad, where he had to openly kind of go out there and make a statement that was like, well, this is kind of uncomfortable to watch, but there we go, that's where we're at, because if you're Hollywood, you want to secure those Chinese release dates. But at this point, honestly, I don't think Marvel has anything to worry about with this film. Again, the comments he made are not reflecting everything and every belief and everybody at Disney or Marvel, but China will take it that way, and that's kind of how it is, and that's just something that, that's how China deals with things. It's a very controlling country. We know this by now. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens next. But in my opinion, Marvel Studios thought they needed a Chinese release date for Shang-Chi. If they could secure it, it'd be great. But if we look at how good the film is doing outside of China, it's honestly something that you could almost look at and go, well, you know what? If they don't secure it, it doesn't honestly matter at this point. And I think that's kind of where we're at with this. Now, guaranteed Marvel Studios will try to pursue, along with Disney, to try to get it released in there just because, it is a box office take, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this, because there is no way China will let this go unnoticed and unpunished, right? That's kind of their stance on it. And I'm pretty sure Marvel will not want to put one of their stars, who's very much opposed to what happens there, on the spotlight where he has to backpedal his comments. Again, we're not getting into that John Cena Suicide Squad situation. That they're going to try to avoid that, because that kind of that got some backlash for the Suicide Squad. Probably not enough to do the whole, film a lot of damage in box office, but that's a whole separate story. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, and if Disney openly acknowledges this, or if they just go, whatever, we made enough money over outside of China, so whatever, forget it.